In this presentation, I want to talk about how to make excellence work for you and your organization. I will start with the practicalities of focusing on your customer. Then I want to spend some time on the issue of quality, since it is clear that high quality is very important to satisfying your customer. Third, I will take a look at the issue of leadership and how it enforces your efforts to achieve excellence. And last, I want to suggest a number of things you can do starting tomorrow to make sure you and your organization make it onto the list of the world's best organizations. First, let me expand some of the ideas about how to focus on your customer. I suggested in another ITC module that it is important to listen to your customers. If you ask your customers what makes for good service, they will be more than glad to tell you. So here is a list of one such effort to find out from customers what they consider to be necessary to achieve good service. The customer's top 10 list for good service includes the following. Excellent organizations express care and concern for their customers. Provide timely, meaning quick, responses to requests, no matter how difficult. Provide assistance without a customer having to ask for it. That is, they anticipate their customers' interests and problems. Express sincere appreciation to their customers. Provide flexible, personalized treatment for each customer. Recover from lapses of service in ways that impress and please the customer. Educate their customers about how to use their products and services, how to get the most out of their products and services, and how to get help when they experience a problem. Empower employees to make decisions and solve problems. Have customer-friendly policies and procedures, meaning easy to follow and use, as well as quick and effective follow-through. Have user-friendly facilities. And meet the customer's requirements on time, the first time, and 100% of the time. Taking one or two of these points at a time and starting a conversation with your employees in a representative and cross-functional task force, or maybe with all your employees, about how to make sure these ideas become policy and practice would be a great way to begin your search for excellence. Secondly, I would like to provide some additional ideas about how to focus on innovation and improvement. The important point here is that your customers demand it. If you don't do it, someone else will, and your customers will be glad to go there. So here again, my favorite statement of values should come to the front of your thinking. Excellent firms constantly remind themselves that we are the best there is, but there is nothing we can't do better. This statement of values must apply to all areas of the organization, to those serving internal customers as well as those serving the external customers. And it should be among the top strategic priorities for the firm. Even though I have talked about this quite a bit already, let me discuss it in some new ways that may help with your questions about how to implement such a strategy. There are two broad approaches to innovation. The first of these is often referred to by the Japanese term or kaizen. This refers to the process of continuous improvement, incremental change, or evolutionary change. This is achieved through constant experimentation, constantly changing in little ways to find new ways to do the job better, to better meet the changing needs of your customer, to improve your technology, to improve your products and service. The second approach to innovation is revolutionary change, finding the totally new product, the new technology, the totally new approach. Often this is done through re-engineering. Often it is done through basic research that moves the existing approach or technology into a totally new method. Regrettably, this form of innovation is often messy. Because it requires significant learning and change, it is often seen as unnecessary or meets resistance from people with a vested interest in products and services being the way they are. And interestingly, innovation is often achieved by messy people. That is, people who are willing to change the way things are done and who don't worry very much about what other people think. Innovative organizations develop ways to protect these types of people and to empower their experimenting. Some basic ideas for developing new ideas include: new ideas can come from anywhere, particularly customers and frontline employees, so you need to be constantly on the lookout for them. You can buy new ideas from others through alliances and joint ventures with other firms or through outright acquisitions. You can learn from others through following best practice, industry leaders, best in class, winners of quality awards, etc. You can create development teams, especially teams that are cross-functional, cross-border, cross-everything. For example, across all types of organizational lines and boundaries. You can organize for innovation and improvement by creating special creativity and innovation groups. For example, the Skunk Works at Lockheed Aerospace, the PC Development Group at IBM, and the set aside of new venture rooms. And you can literally design it into your system. For example, through Japanese-type quality circles, the use of total quality management or TQM, or bonus systems that reward innovative new ideas. People can learn to be creative. You can train for it, need to support it, and reward it. All of this implies that everyone in the organization must focus on product and service quality. There is no such thing as acceptable product, service, or procedure quality. They can always get better. From the corner office to the shop floor and store counter, quality must be everyone's business. Everyone needs to keep their ears open. Some of the best ideas will come from the most unexpected sources. Develop a detailed implementation plan. Talking about quality is not enough. Help departments work together. Overcome the territorial imperative, that is, people defending their turf, their existing ways of doing things, the ideas, products, and procedures they invented and own, their functional points of view. This is one of the biggest obstacles to making change. Analyze jobs to identify their elements and set quality standards for each step. Take control of your processes. You must know why something goes wrong. Be patient. Don't expect gains to show up next quarter. Make extraordinary efforts in unusual situations. Customers will remember those best. The benefits of improved quality should reach every part of the organization. Third, create an organization culture that supports and encourages a focus on the customer and constant improvement. It all begins with the employee. The organization has to place its first priority on talent management, attracting, hiring, compensating, developing, motivating, and retaining great people. Fourth, leadership is what makes it all work. It is clear that when we examine excellent organizations, it is individual leaders that create excellence in these firms. Leadership provides the drive, purpose, motivation, commitment. It creates the climate for excellence, and it reinforces the importance of excellence. The first thing that leaders who are striving for excellence do is concentrate their own attention as well as that of all their associates and employees. Vision, a statement about where the organization is going, the reason it exists, what it hopes to become. An effective vision provides a driving sense of purpose, an overriding mission that permeates the organization and transcends all else. From Steve Jobs at Apple Computers, to Fred Smith at FedEx, to Millard Fuller at Habitat for Humanity, founders of successful organizations are great at presenting their visions for greatness. Values. These are the guiding principles about how the business is done, how people are to behave, what gets priority attention, what is right and wrong. Values are instrumental in achieving the vision, but they aren't the same as the vision. Whether it is cleanliness and consistency of product and service at McDonald's, or outstanding customer service at Nordstrom's, successful organizations develop values that everyone who works there and every customer who buys or shops there knows. Set the example. One way that leaders reinforce their visions and teach their values is to set the example. They do this with the way they use their time and with what they do. If employees are important, and as I've indicated, they are at the core of excellence, then leaders spend time with them. They manage by walking around. They spend time with the troops. If cleanliness is important, they pick up the trash when they see it. If quality is important, they work on it, complain about it, reward it when it is good, and make sure the customer is surprised by the quality of their products and service. Language and symbols. Excellent firms create terms, names, phrases, symbols that reinforce the culture they want to create. So employees are members, they're entertainers, associates. Customers are guests. Organizations are drawn upside down, with executives at the bottom, and moments of truth focus employees' attention on the customer. The second area leaders of excellence focus on is the facilitation of members' efforts in customer service and innovation. They empower employees to do their jobs, use their own discretion to take care of customers. They remove obstacles to customer service and creativity. They run interference for their employees' performance. For example, by running the copy machine at 3 a.m. so that the task force can finish its proposal for presentation at 8 a.m. They do the simple but significant tasks such as bringing donuts, buying the pizza or tacos, and providing space to experiment and make mistakes. They place first priority on employee training, constant and complete training, training for flexibility, which cuts costs, allows greater speed, creates innovation, and cross-trains employees in job performance. For example, in a retail chain in Florida, cross-training is encouraged and practiced. It provides the organization with the flexibility to deal with employee shortages and to handle special or unexpected work needs. One young man there drives a forklift in the warehouse, operates a cash register, and spends time as a salesperson in sporting goods. This has paid off so well for this organization that it's being spread from the store that started it to all the stores in the chain. Many manufacturers have found that cross-trained workers are vital to quality improvement. Cross-trained employees detect flaws in each other's work, apply problem-solving techniques more effectively, and fill in as needed, providing the flexibility needed for just-in-time systems of inventory and work in process in order to buffer problems. You might think this is normal practice, but in fact it is rare. Coaching and developing. So a major role for management must be for helping employees develop, including subordinate managers. This should include encouraging risk-taking and allowing mistakes. Help employees take pride and ownership in what they do. For example, let them put their names on products and have titles such as Supreme Commander on their business cards, as Bill Gore allows at his firm Gore-Tex, one of the best places to work. And lastly, leaders of excellence must be cheerleaders for their employees, constantly praising their performance and rewarding their customer service and innovations. Often when I present seminars, I'm asked, what do I do Monday morning or tomorrow? That is, participants are asking, how can I implement what you are teaching? How do I use what you have suggested in your training? I think this is a great question, since the whole purpose of my seminars is to provide ideas for better managing. So my final remarks are oriented toward answering this question. My remarks are based on comments that were made a few years ago by C. Jackson Grayson, Jr., who at the time was chairman of the American Productivity and Quality Center. Here are 10 very specific things you can do that will move you and your organization a long way toward your search for excellence. First, in the next 90 days, visit 10 external customers by yourself. Create in your organization an absolutely fanatical focus on customers, starting with yourself. Working with your employees, develop a policy that has everyone in your organization learning from your customers. Second, in the next 4 months, visit 10 plants or offices in your own country with reputations for excellence. Also in the next 12 months, visit 5 such plants or firms abroad. Learn what makes them successful and bring the ideas back home. Implement them in your own organization. Even better, take one or more of your employees with you so they too can learn what makes excellent organizations successful. And then begin a conversation with all of your employees about how to make these ideas your own. Third, next week, announce that in the next 2 years you want your entire organization organized around teams. That is, if it isn't already. Especially cross-functional and cross-cultural and cross-national teams. Mix customers into your teams. If necessary, and it might well be, provide training on how to function effectively in teams. Reward and give recognition to the best teams. Fourth, in the next year, install a gain-sharing compensation program. Build it around an employee involvement system. Start conversations about it next week, no later than Friday. Fifth, create within the next 6 months an improved measurement system, such as a balanced scorecard that focuses on productivity, quality and customer satisfaction, sustainability and ethics, and considers all stakeholders. Disseminate its use throughout the organization and incorporate it into your budget, performance appraisal, compensation, and reporting systems by the end of the year. Sixth, in the next 4 months, launch a quality improvement program involving the entire organization. Plan to have it fully operational by the end of the year, and plan for its development and improvement over the next 5 years. Plan to apply for your country or industry's quality award in the 5th year. Seventh, make talent management your #1 priority. Without hiring and managing the best employees, you can find all of these action steps will be a lot more difficult. If your business is a family business, give the most important assignments to your best family members. No one gets a job purely based on family membership. Triple your training budget every year until it is 5% of your payroll. Include online courses as well as other forms of training and education. Eighth, in the next 6 months, tear down most of your interior walls. By the end of the year, have very few private offices in the firm. Move people who work together closer together. Mix staff and line. Professionals and operational people. Insiders and outsiders. Locals and foreigners. People from various generations, and provide the budgets and support to make it work. Ninth, focus not on cost reduction, but on eliminating waste, innovating and satisfying customers. Set the goal of eliminating waste in all aspects of your operations by 100% in the next 12 months. And lastly, change yourself. Learn some new things. Practice them. Set a goal to learn 3 new areas in the next 12 months. Read 3 books you wouldn't otherwise. And do 1 outrageous thing in the organization you've never done before to make some point. Do most things with emotion that others can see. Show that you really care about them and your organization. Let me end by telling part of the recent story of Corning Glass Works. James Houghton, the great-great-grandson of the founder, took over the firm as chairman and CEO in 1983. He was succeeded last year by Wendell Weeks. James provided a great model of how to develop and communicate a leader's vision. He continually stated his goals and how he wanted to achieve them. These included very specific targets related to return on equity, annual inflation-adjusted revenue growth, debt-to-equity ratios, and average dividend payments relative to earnings. But his overall aim, which he tirelessly communicated to his 25,000 employees, for instance on his 40 to 50 trips a year to his far-flung divisions, was to head one of the 10 most admired U.S. corporations in Fortune magazine's annual poll. Said Houghton, "Fortune's criteria match Corning's values, and being one of these companies means we are living our values." Houghton established concern for quality as the company's central long-term value. He said, "I believe companies that don't buy into quality are doomed." To help achieve this focus on quality, all new employees take courses that emphasize the firm's commitment to quality. By 1991, all employees spent more than 2 additional weeks every year on additional quality training. Again, Houghton said, "Quality applies to everything we do. This is a lifetime journey, not a destination." Houghton's quality campaign created a change in the culture at Corning. For example, suggestion boxes that had been scattered around the plants used to generate only a few suggestions that generated even fewer accepted ideas and that received small bonus checks months later. This was a system that led to considerable backbiting and jealousy among employees and, as you would expect, was largely ignored. Now managers repeatedly encourage the submission of ideas, with good ideas being adopted much more quickly with the help of the originator of the idea. Corning now gets 5 times as many suggestions, and they act on 40 times as many. And surveys show that the satisfaction of helping is now the primary and usually sufficient reward. Houghton estimates the cost of preventing, detecting, and paying for errors and bad quality used to be 20 to 30% of sales. He is convinced a motivated workforce can slice those costs fast. So he continues to harp on the subject and build an organization committed to outstanding quality and service to the customers, constant change and improvement, and a culture that supports those values. Such leadership has certainly paid off for Corning Incorporated. Don't expect immediate results, but don't get discouraged. Get everyone involved in the conversation about how to make these suggestions happen. This is not a program, but a process for continuous improvement. Don't give up. The process of learning, adjusting, and improving never ends. When you finish these 10 steps, develop 10 more ideas to move your organization forward toward that goal of excellence. The point is, get started now. Remember, the first and maybe most important characteristic of excellent organizations is a bias for action. I've provided you with a roadmap for getting there. Now it's up to you to get your organization started on its journey. Best of luck, and thank you for your attention.